Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. We are live from Yellowknife. We have hopefully a bunch of you joining us virtually. We have a few of us joining us in person. We're going to do a whole lot more Windows 11 and Microsoft accessibility with this guy up here, Mike Philpin. I'm going to turn it over to him.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. This is a great show on Windows accessibility in Microsoft 365. And we're going to look in Microsoft Edge browser as well, because there are some brand new tools that are there. Microsoft has done extensive work in the past year to make features accessible. And there's a lot of information that's there. We're only going to look at a handful right now. What I want to do, I'm going to be bouncing between this slideshow, so you bear with me. I think it should go fairly smoothly. Here's a slide deck. So if you want to download this, it's the cc.page/W. So you have Win 11 access. So try that, make sure that works. And if it's not working, we can correct that. Should be good to go. And thank you. Michelle's put that link into the chat as well. So you can just copy that, paste that into your browser, and you should be good to go. Oh, it didn't update. I updated you just now, and then I forgot to take it out. So name. This is a picture of Michelle in a blizzard. And how embarrassing.
That's fine. I'll just
yeah.
very quickly introduce myself. I think it was my my role to put my name in the slide deck. So missed it. My fault. I'm Michelle Armstrong. I am one of the co-founders of the Cobblestone Collective. We could not do our work without consultants like Mike here, who really is going to take this whole show. I'm in the background. I'll be posting in the chat, and I'll probably pop out every once in a while to chat with Mike. But for that, Mike, why don't I just leave you to it, and I'll probably pop in here and there.
Great. So I brought a land acknowledgement from my community. I'm from Thunder Bay, Ontario. If you were in our previous sessions, we've had different land acknowledgements from different areas. And we had one here today in Yellowknife. And I really like to hear the differences. So I'd like to share mine. Even though I'm not in Robinson Superior 1850 Treaty area right now, this is the land acknowledgement that I tend to use. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather today is a traditional territory of the Anishinaabe of Fort William First Nation, that we live and work in the Robinson Superior 1850 Treaty area. I also acknowledge the enduring presence and deep traditional knowledge, laws, and philosophies of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today. Our social teachings call us in solidarity with Indigenous community to honor and respect the four directions: lands, waters, plants, animals, and ancestors that walk before us. All of these wonderful elements of creation exist, gifted to us by our Creator. I'd like to thank the Cobblestone Collective. Michelle just mentioned that. Michelle what she won't tell you is the amount of work that her and Michelle Sturba do behind the scenes. It's always just, oh, don't worry, it's a piece of cake. But this is the first in-person gathering since the beginning of COVID. And it's not just in person, it's hybrid. So I know there's been there's twice the amount of organization, because you're not just organizing rooms, you're also organizing links and presenters from all across Canada today who are at home, and they're presenting to people who are live here and watching from home too. So thank you very much. And thank you for having me. So we have a bit of a short plan today, but we can extend it and we can dive into things. I'm pretty open if we get into a topic to kind of veer off as well, because I'm really impressed with Microsoft. It's something I used to teach computers. We're talking ancient history. I've been an administrator for a long time, and Microsoft would have been everything that I taught, and Windows. And then got into Google, and there's just so many great tools that are out there. And I'm now back between everything, but Microsoft has really, with the release of Windows 11, with PowerPoint, with Microsoft Edge, they've really put a lot of things in play for accessibility. So we're talking accessibility vision if someone has needs for vision, for hearing, for dexterity, mobility, focus, all sorts of different things, and they're built in. In addition to those, that accessibility, there's also a lot of accessibility built in for language. So we just had a session, if you were able to jump in with Anton going through PowerPoint, which we're not going to look at right now. But PowerPoint has some really great things, not just for practicing your presentation, but for language translation. And with the increase in students that we have who are immigrating to our country and English is a second language, the live translation and the accuracy of it has just improved so much over the last 12 to 18 months. It really makes a difference. So it's really evening out the playing field. So what I'd like to do first, we'll kind of, I mentioned, jump back and forth. We're just going to look at an overview of some of the accessibility within Windows 11. I just want to show you where to find that. And you can scroll through and things will pop out, and we'll touch base on a few of those. But you'll know where to go back to kind of play around and try everything. After that, we're going to look at Immersive Reader. So Immersive Reader, we're going to look at it just in Microsoft Edge, but Immersive Reader is something that Microsoft is really ingrained in the background of the whole system, but it's really, the example that I'll give will just be reading from a website. And Immersive Reader, I used to be a special education teacher before I was in admin, and there were software programs that we would purchase for individual laptops for students if they needed content read to them. And it was quite costly. And a lot of these companies got bought out by the bigger software companies, and technology is now integrated into everything. So it's not, often we'd have problems with one company's software talking to another company's software, and it was very difficult for a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old to circumnavigate. Now everything is pretty seamless. And then we're going to look at Math Solver if we have some time. If Math Solver isn't something, we'll look at Math Solver, and depending on the interest, we can stick with it or we can go past. But Math Solver, and I'll give you some time to play around in between all of these as well. And then I just have some time at the end for either questions or discussion or some time to play. And if we have time, we can go back into Windows 11 and see some of the other things. Any questions so far? Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. So I'll go through a few of these slides just to see, but I'm going to switch here. And I have a blank screen, and I shouldn't have a blank screen. Excuse me for 1 second while I figure out why.
Well, that's my chance to come in and just say hello. If you haven't had a chance to take a peek at Edge, if you are like me, who is typically using Chrome, Edge has some really cool tools that Mike is going to show you. So if you are not currently using a Windows device that has Edge on it, quick, go grab it, because he's going to be showing you some of those things. And then the first thing you're showing us are the settings inside Windows 11. Is that correct? Are you in Edge?
Oh, I am in Edge. That's the problem. Hang on. I have to go full window.
Full window. That's it. And so if you have Windows 11, awesome. Everything's going to look just like Mike is going to show you. If you still are on Windows 10, most of the features should still be there. You just might have to find them in another spot. Well, look at that. Perfect timing. I'll turn it back. Oh,
there we go. Okay. There we are. Okay. Thank you for your patience, everybody. So this is just my my main screen. And in Windows 11, they've moved the start button. It's more in the center of the screen. It used to be in the bottom left-hand corner. Click on your Windows button And I'm going to get you just to go to settings, which you can see is kind of in the middle-ish. And here we go. So this is where all the settings, everything that you want to change is, and you can see system, Bluetooth devices, all the things we normally look at. But if we go down the left-hand side, kind of looks like a blue gingerbread man, you'll see accessibility, and I'll kind of move my mouse around it. In the slideshow that you've saved, there are screenshots to get you to this point, but it's just a lot easier for us to do it. So when we click accessibility, you'll see there are a wide variety of different things to do. And I know some people here have Windows 11 and some have Windows 10, so things aren't going to look like this on yours. But you're more than welcome to see a few of the demonstrations, and then even afterwards we can spend some time looking at some accessibility. A lot of this is self-explanatory, so we have text size. I'm just going to go full screen here since so you have to look at my profile. So you can see text size, and text size is very similar to your phone. You can make things bigger, you can make things smaller. And you can see here, I just drag this slider and it's going to make the text bigger or smaller. And it shows that in the text size preview. So you can find a size that's appropriate for you. There's also different visual effects. And you can scroll through and you can see brightness, notifications, all sorts of different things that are there. Your mouse pointer and touch, you might want to change. There's a brighter mouse pointer. The size, you can make the mouse bigger if you need to see it. And you can see I just drag it and you can see how big my mouse pointer has become if you need that. All sorts of different things. And again, we won't go through all of them.
How cool is that exercise mouse? Just for us even back here.
Sure.
Watching the screen, right? Like when
Yeah.
your mouse is bigger, it's like, oh, I can see where you're clicking.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Right? So,
Yeah, you know what? Let's leave it big and then we can see later on if it's distracting or if it's in our situation. For anyone watching at home, we're watching on a large TV, but because we're in a classroom, seeing text, even text size, I should probably make the text size a little bit bigger. I don't think it will interfere too much at home. There we go.
Well, that's way better.
Okay, so we're going to look at magnifier. So I'll get you to go down to magnifier. And basically, here are various ways that we can play around with magnifier. So you have the ability to start it before you sign in, after you sign in. We can turn things on, and you can see now that as I move my mouse, it's magnifying that area. And for people with various vision needs, you can see how this would be beneficial. So you can move around the screen with your mouse, and it's going to zoom in on that part. You can press the Windows logo and the plus sign or the minus sign to zoom in. So I will do that on my computer here, and this is going to work. You can see I can zoom in or zoom out. And it works as well, like if you're on the internet and maybe the website itself seems small, just simply hit the Windows logo key, the Windows key, and your plus or minus sign, and it's going to make things bigger or smaller. And we can do that because we're going to go into Microsoft Edge in a little while. Let's go back here. And let's just go through and see. Color filters and contrast themes are really interesting because there are students who have vision issues and that could be affected by fluorescent lights. It could be affected just with a medical issue, and having, even though most screens all the time are dark text on a white background, having the opposite is better for some people, and it gives students control or teachers control, anyone control on how they're going to have the contrast themes. So we'll just click on that to show you. And basically they have some previews that are already there. So if we click on night sky, oh, we have to drop it down, night sky. We can press apply, and you can see sometimes it might even just be same person, different lighting in your room. So whether you're working at night, you're working in the daylight, in a different space, it might be best. You might find it beneficial just to change these. So we can go through, we can try some of these. The desert is neat because it's a bit of a beiginess instead of a bright white background. Sand, I guess. And then aquatic is dark, and then you can see the blue highlights that are here. And of course, we can go back and just turn them all off. Any questions on contrast? There were some themes. I think I will go back, and since we're there, rather than come back here later. But there are some neat themes that are here, different backgrounds. And they change the windows as well that we work in. I hear lots of clicking. Would you like some time? Would you like a minute or two? And just to click through all your settings?
I have to, I'll type in accessibility every time to change and find the themes or the display.
You do on yours?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because it's Windows 10.
because it's Windows 10, so it's not in that left-hand column.
You just
Yeah.
have to search for the features.
Okay,
What I like, Mike, especially because of this TV, I never realized how beneficial that dark mode, that night mode.
Yeah.
You can see other reasons you might like it, but especially in this room, like, wow,
Yeah.
it's so much easier to see that from here. So that's great. Awesome. I think let's do that. I'll start a 5-minute timer playtime.
sure.
Those of you watching, if you're watching online, let us know in the chat if you have any questions. But let's go to a 5-minute timer. And we're going to help We had some chance to explore. If you do have any questions, throw those in the chat. If you're watching the recording, you probably know how to get a hold of us. help@cobblestonecollective.ca. Just let us know if you have any questions about any of that. Where are we going next, Mike?
Well, we're going to go into Edge. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to add this to the stream. And if you open Microsoft Edge and use that as your browser, I've just got this CBC Sports article up here. I just tried to find something. I went to CBC News, but I didn't find a lot of good news. So I thought, you know what? Let's not be a downer here. And this might be good news. It might not be good news, depending on whether you are a Leafs fan, a Blues fan, somewhere in between. And this is basically NHL trade deadline is looming and we're starting to see some movement. So I thought I would pull this up. So immersive reader, I mentioned students often need some help having something read back to them, and it could just be for language and learning new words. So there are a few ways that you can easily do this in the web right now. So I thought I'd show you this. And it doesn't have to be this website. That's the beauty of it. So if you are reading things, you have the ability to have this entire article read to you. That would be one option. Or perhaps someone is reading the article and as they're scrolling through, they see a word and they're just not really sure, or a phrase, and they're just not really sure about that either. So I'm just going to go back up. I'm going to show you how to pick out a word. And I won't use a name because obviously names are there, but maybe the word, maybe just this part right here. So we could highlight, let's go with this sentence. And if you right click, you can go to, there's a window that's going to pop up and you can read aloud a section. And I've highlighted a section. So it should be able to just read aloud this part here.
Meanwhile, receives Toronto's 2025 fourth round selection. The Blues will retain 50% of O'Reilly's salary, while the Wild will take on 25% as part of the trade.
And sorry, I had the volume down quite low just because we do have a few sound issues. And but we also have the ability to be right at the top and have the entire article read to us. So I want to just point you to some tools that are in front of us, but we may not be noticing. So if you can see where I'm hovering my mouse here, we have a few things. We have read aloud this page. There's an A with kind of like a speaker. We also have enter immersive reader. And then we have our magnification as well. So if I just clicked on read aloud this page, I'm going to do this and we'll come back.
To acquire O'Reilly, Acciari in 3-team trade. Canadian press.
I just press pause. Sorry, I have to remember to mute afterwards. Did we notice anything when it was reading? I made a pretty big mistake with did you hear what it called? Did you hear what it referred to St. Louis as?
Oh, St. Louis.
Street Louis.
Oh, St. Louis.
Interesting?
Yeah.
Makes sense? But you imagine a student who's new, so technology isn't perfect, so we do want to be careful. Yeah, it did say Street Louis. So anyways, we're going to go back. I want to show you a few other things. So immersive reader, I'm going to click on immersive reader this time. And look at the difference between what we just read. I'm going to go back. And immersive reader. Specifically, I'm going to let this page load back in again. So what's the most distracting part of this page? Sure. There's ads for Microsoft products, which we definitely love Microsoft products. However, that could be distracting, and it's not always Microsoft products that are in the ads. So again, I'm going to go back. I'm not clicking on the A. I'm clicking on the book with the speaker, and it says Enter Immersive Reader. And there's a nice clean page. It's ad-free. And notice at the top, we have read aloud again. So I think we can imagine what's going to happen if I press that button, and we will. But before that, we see text preferences, we see grammar tools, and we see reading preferences. So I would really like to go through all of these because there's some really interesting things. And depending on not just age level, like I don't want to classify that, in grade 3 or grade 4 when we're learning to read, because again, sometimes we have students who come here from another country who are brilliant in their field, could be math, could be science. It's the language it's holding them back, and it really isn't an even playing field for them. And a simple tool like this is really helpful. So we're going to go into text preferences. And again, you can make the text really big, you can make the text really small, or somewhere in between. We have text spacing. So often reading is difficult just because words are really close together. So I'm going to just click on text spacing, and you can see that it has spaced everything out. I'm going to get this out of the way here. And you can see it's quite different there. I'm going to go back. I can change the font. Now, it doesn't let me change the font to too many, but it does give you a few choices. And then it gives us the text column style. So you can spread it out more. And then we can change the page themes. So again, dark, light for our preferences. We've got more themes. So you could, if you're looking for color, you have all of this as well. Lots there. Is it working on your laptops? No? Okay. Then I'll just go through these. And if I'm going faster, you want me to back up, please just shout out too, since you don't have that play time yourself. Now I'm going to just show you grammar tools because this is pretty neat too. And this is when you're really learning reading strategies, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. So first thing is syllables. For emergent readers, the learning syllables is a really big factor in it. And you can see, I'll take this text box off. It's breaking words into syllables, and there's a dot. So you have maple, leaves, acquire. Oh, now interesting because O'Reilly has an apostrophe, so it really didn't break that first one, but it somewhat is. O'Reilly, Akari in a 3-team trade with Blues Wild, and then Toronto. All of the syllables are there. I'm going to just click read aloud. We're going to read this aloud a few times, so bear with us. Oh, I'm muted. Sorry, so this may not be going in the recording, but we can always throw links, and you can follow along and do this yourself, I think, too. So did anyone notice anything about that reading?
I thought it was a bit fast.
Thank you.
I was trying to follow, and it was like, my eyes were trying to read.
Thank you for reading my mind. I appreciate that. That's the answer I was hoping for. So we're going to go to voice options, and you can see there's a speed. Normal. Interesting, there are way more options to make it even faster and fewer to make it slower, but we're going to slow it down. Now, we also can choose a voice, and this is pretty neat because there are so many voices to choose from. So I'm going to go all the way to the top just so we can kind of scroll down and get an idea of what's happening here. So we have David speaking English from United States.
Oh, we don't see your drop down. Do you have your drop
Yes.
down? Oh, we don't see it.
Oh, no.
It's hidden.
It
Oh, wait,
is.
there. And you clicked on it?
Well, you just see what I pick. No, there's a full drop down. So you know what?
Ooh, that's okay.
No, you need to see this. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to share my whole screen. Hi, everybody. And sorry. We're going to go entire screen this time. I think it should show up. There we go.
Wow,
Okay.
Look at that.
Okay, so we were trying to use our settings for the audio, which I don't think we were using the right ones. And maybe this will now come through now that we're on entire screen. I'm not sure. You don't think so, so we have David, who is English United States. I'm not going to read through all of these. We have Richard, English Canada, Linda, English Canada. So you do have male, female, you can choose from. Some more from the United States. And then we're reading in English, but we still have the ability to pick someone from what it would sound like to have someone from another country. So for instance, Filippetti, my dad's side of the family is Italian. So I could choose someone from Italy and they would still read in English. However, let's find Italian.
Wow, there's so many.
Mm-hmm. Italy. Do we have a preference? How about Isabella from
Oh,
Italy?
Definitely.
Okay. And we wanted to slow that down, so we've slowed that down as well. Strada means street, so there it keeps getting caught on that for St. Louis. That's very interesting to me. Now, I don't know that makes things clear. However, like thinking of stories of my dad learning English, because my dad didn't learn English till he went to kindergarten because his parents spoke Italian at home. That may be something because that's the English or the voice he's hearing, and it may actually be helpful somewhat, but you know, we can try. Here's Irish. That's being helpful, but you can just see the different options that are there, and it's fun to play around with. So maybe we'll put a little, oh, you know what, before we do that, there still are a few other things. We're going to go back because we didn't go through reading preferences as well. So we did grammar preferences, but I didn't demonstrate them. So what we can do, you can turn all of these radio buttons on. It just gets really confusing. So let's say today's lesson is on nouns, and you say to your students, and it might not be this article because learning nouns this might be a little more advanced of an article for students who are learning nouns and verbs, but I think you'll get the idea. You can say all nouns should be purple, okay? So we can, let's take the syllables off, and you can see all the nouns are purple. So it has instantaneously separated that out. We can go back and we can do the same for verbs. I would take nouns off personally because I find it distracting. And you can see sends is highlighted, acquire is highlighted. So it helps just to promote what is a verb. And you have that again for adjectives and adverbs as well. So you have ways, you can also put labels on. So now it shows the V for verb over the verb, and it helps it stand out a little bit more. We might even want to change our background. It might be easier on this. And now we're just going to look at reading preferences as well. So this helps focus while reading by highlighting 1, 3, or 5 lines. So you can just show, again, if you remember when we talked about how the ads could be distracting when you're reading online, even the whole article might be. So this is somewhere where we can just make everything else darker, and we're just looking at one area.
I hear it in a tree sound.
Picture dictionary. There is a picture dictionary. And when your cursor changes to a star, so I'll show you, then you can see the word in a picture. I'm interested to see. So I'm over pics. And there's a little, let me hide this, a little picture definition to help explain what pics means. I'm interested what it shows for wild because it will not be, the context won't be the NHL.
Okay, gives you.
3 definitions there. Selection, same as pics.
And is it, so you hover over it and it'll
Yeah,
tell
it
you?
doesn't have every word, but when the cursor turns to the magic wand with the star, it means there's something there. So sent, that's sent.
And where did you find picture dictionary again? Can you show us?
In reading preferences, there's a picture dictionary
Oh,
you can
yeah.
turn on and off.
That's so great for younger students.
And we have, again, translation.
Oh.
In 3-team trade with Blues.
That's in French or what language is that?
That's in
This is
French.
French.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this is what I'm curious of, is the picture dictionary for French language learners. I don't think, okay, so that'd be the same in English, a noun's a noun, it's fairly similar.
However, for an English student
Wait,
trying to learn,
that's so cool. Envoyer, because send, that's
Yeah.
a word a lot of kids might not understand. Oh, I really like this for French language learners. Deuxième. Ah, nice. What? Reçoit. Oh. Do either of you speak French?
No,
No? Okay.
well, I know a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder with 15 minutes left. we
Oh,
might
sorry.
wanna-
Yep.
No, it's okay, but we might want to show a few of those other highlights, and then I love the idea of like a playtime.
Yeah.
For the last bit, for sure. Oh, yes, math solver. You gotta do math solver.
so it's booted me out here. This is not,
That looks like math drills.
I'm gonna give you, can you give us just a couple of minutes? Because I have to reload this. And then we're gonna take this off our screen, just so that I can get this going.
Let me bring myself back in. So we
Okay.
are going to take, we'll put the 5-minute timer up there, but exploring those picture dictionaries, those different accents, that's pretty cool to do that. So let's share in this screen here. And 5-minute timer. Nope. 5-minute timer. Ready, set, go.
Okay, so where do we find, I was totally lost.
Let's help you. So that's inside Edge.
So this is, I assume this is it.
Yes. So a page that you find, so go to a newspaper article. The reason it's not showing up for here is there's not really enough text to read. So let's check that one out. And now click that. That's your read
Read
aloud.
aloud.
So that's there. So
This is a add to favorites.
now I know immersive reader also will highlight.
Okay, we're good.
Down here,
Yeah, let's try that. I just want to see. Let's read aloud. Go back to. Want to go to your Edge screen, your mouse over?
This one, sure.
You got it. All right.
Okay.
And we're back.
Okay, I'm going to just put myself, thank you for your patience. We canceled the timer a little early just because we had a quick technical glitch, but it was really way more minor than I thought. So apologize for that. So Math Solver, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this if you don't know what Math Solver is. This works in the Edge browser. So if you're doing math homework and you're in the Edge browser, imagine you're a student. So up here, remember I showed you the A and the immersive reader. We're going to go keep following it past the profile even and just click on the 3 dots that's there. And a big menu pops up. And we're going to scroll down to more tools. And even though the arrow points right, we're going to look left. And we're going to just open up Math Solver. And this is going to come up on our page. And you can see that basically we have almost like a split screen, even though we're still in the Edge browser. So our browser is split and we have I've opened up just a simple math sheet, but you don't even need to have it with a math sheet. So I'll kind of walk you through it. Learn to solve math problems. Math Solver helps you solve problems, and we're going to click next. If you've used this before, obviously you'll start to skip it, but it's basically telling you how it's going to learn. And you can see up top, like it has some pretty extensive math questions. There's trigonometry, calculus. We're going to look at something simple right now because we want to be able to test it and make sure that it's working properly. So I'm going to go to next again. And basically it's going to say, I could type a math problem or I could select a math problem. So since I have this worksheet up, I'm going to select a math problem. And now you can see over here on the side, I can just highlight one of these problems like this. And I'm just going to click on solve. It gives me a little solve balloon. And it's going to say 10 times 7 is 70. And it's pretty quick to do that. Show solution steps, and it's going to write it out so it can fully have that. It also, on its own, I didn't ask for it, but it's also showed me it's factored 70. And there's some recommended videos, not on multiplying my question, but it's on 2-digit times 2-digit multiplication. So you can see that's there. Now that was pretty standard, and you can go through and you can do all these. But let's go back. Get rid of that. And we're going to go back into Math Solver. And we're going to skip through all of this. And instead, we're going to type a math problem. Remember, we had type a math problem. So you end up with, this looks like a pretty interesting calculator, but notice there's a top bar here. So there are different calculators that you can choose from. And you can, if you remember, I remember when I went to high school and in grade 12, I had to spend a lot of money on a very extensive calculator, a very specialized calculator. And the nice thing is, I mean, not that my computer is cheaper than the calculator, but you start, even at school, if there's Windows 11, this is part of it. So you can use this and there isn't an extra cost to it. And you can see that there are different, so this would just be a normal keyboard for variables. But you have the ability to type something in if you're doing logarithms, you're doing calculus, and the different formulas would be there. I'm going to do just a quick search here up top and get rid of this. And I'm going to use quadratic equation.
We looked at the calculator in Google yesterday. You guys are both there. I actually have not seen this before. Like, wow, that just gives even more functionality.
It does. And when you talk to teachers, sometimes when teachers see this, they're not happy about it because you're worried that a student is going to go home and just get their homework done and do it this way. And it just really takes a lot of pre-learning to be able to say, you can do that. But remember, you're going to write a test and you're not going to have access to this. So you should be doing it. If you get it wrong, that's okay. The nice thing is you can check it. and you can check it in the privacy of your own home, so you can figure out why you're wrong. And that's the good thing, is we don't like to ask questions because we don't like to be wrong. And this allows you to be responsible, to figure it out, to start to accept that getting things wrong is the best way to learn. And you can do that, not that you want to teach yourself, but you can go through that. And then you can meet with your teacher, meet with a tutor, meet with someone, and narrow down your questions because you'll have more understanding. So I'll just show you quadratic equations. And here we're going to highlight that and solve it. And there you go. It's going to solve for X. It's going to, again, show all the steps. You're going to add 5 to both sides and quickly go through it. I mean, it gives you a very strategic method to solve for that. And then it also graphs it for you as well.
And the video suggestions.
And video. And show more learning content. It's not just that. So we can click on this and it's going to give us more.
How great is that too for teachers, so to even change their questioning? So it's not just about do this in front of me without this calculator. Okay, hey, let's use this tool. What videos do you find?
Yeah.
Give me a summary of what you found in the video to help someone else understand this. But yeah, just the power of changing our questioning with a tool like this.
And the independence for a student to either learn independently or with a friend. And the friends don't even have to be in the same room. You could be at home. Hey, are you struggling with this? I'm struggling with this. Or I'm strong in this. I can help you with this, but can you help me with that? And you can do this and collaborate and go through everything all together. So that's a very quick look at math, at Problem Solver. The other interesting thing coming back to it, because I had presented this, I think in December, we did some crates, and in Montreal, we were talking about this as well. This is AI. Like, I know there's a lot of talk about chat GPT and AI, and that is just, everyone's focused on that for AI. AI has been here. AI has been in the bottom of our emails where we can just click on a phrase instead of typing it, and it starts to learn how we would reply to something. And so it's there, and there are some great benefits to it. This is one of them. I mean, to just be able to scan something and it know what it is, it can be very helpful. So I hope that was worthwhile. I think I'm going to just go back to the slideshow here because we only have a couple of minutes. Oh, I'm on.
Exercise for multiplication.
Yeah.
You can do it in addition, subtraction, right?
Yeah.
Solve the numbers, like, for example, in the language, the kids can count right up to 31 for January.
Yeah.
And this month will be 28 days. But what I'll do is I'll also get them to count by tens as well.
Yeah.
And at one time I thought, okay, I'm gonna have a bit of fun with you guys. I did some addition, just up to 10 to see if they could answer it in the language. And that was so fun because they would give it to me in English and they would go, oh, D. Whatever the answer was, they would say, oh, D. Yeah.
But that's great too. So yeah, and they do their math, but then they have to translate that, like using those letters rather than English, or numbers. Sorry.
So a few things I have left at the bottom of this slideshow for you. And the first one is just a link to the Windows accessibility features. And they have a pretty good job, and they're in the same order as they're listed when you go into the tools. So if you click on that, there's some self-instruction that you can just follow. I've also left 2 links that are Cobblestone links. The first one is just Cobblestone collective.ca/Windows 11. And then there's another link to some crates as well. And there's kind of 2 areas where you can really get some great Microsoft resources that are there. So I encourage you to click on those, help yourself to those resources, because I know you guys have been in this room all day today, and you've your brain is probably overflowing and oozing out, and you'll go home and in 3 days you'll be like, I remember something about something. And you have all these resources, you can click on them and you can go back and you can take a big breath and go, okay, I'm going to go through this one thing. And I'm only going to do one thing this hour, not 17 things, because you've done 17 things an hour times 4 hours. So I know there's a lot there. So I think we'll leave it at that. We're almost at an hour here. It is 3:30. I think we started a minute late. So I'll go forward one more slide. Again, thank you to Cobblestone. Thank you to Microsoft. And there is a feedback form that's there. Please go to cobblestonecollective.ca/feedback. And we would like to see some feedback. And thank you. I hope that was somewhat helpful. I know it was just a small taste of accessibility, and there's so much more there. But yeah, dig in and keep learning.
Awesome, very cool, Mike. Well, thank you so much. And yes, those resources are there for you. Check them out, and hope to see you in another workshop sometime soon. Take care.